This is for all of my There's power already working in you. A feast is for friends. Wine makes you happy, but money is the answer to all things. Get yourself something to sip on, set that pot on simmer, and let's talk money, love, relationships, work, and more, but mostly money. We're going to be better than Starbucks. We're going to break Twitter. Yeah, this is happening, and it's a thing. Tweet, post, pin, scope, IG, whatever you got to do. It's the Bag Lady Radio Show with your hosts, Mrs. Mary Ellis and Dr. Regina Littles.
Good afternoon, Atlanta. This is Mrs. Mary Ellis, and this is the Bag Lady Radio Show. And y'all know I'm usually really excited to be here with y'all. And you know what? I'm actually excited to be here with y'all because I love y'all. Y'all know I love y'all. I love y'all. But you know, sometimes things happen and they change your energy a little bit. They change your energy a little bit. And that is kind of what's happening here with your girl. And, you know, but I'm back. I'm better today than I was last week. Because if I'd have been on the air with y'all last week, I'd have been like, oh my gosh, this is the Bag Lady Radio Show. Oh, this is Mary Ellis. And that's what would have been happening. So today we actually have a really good show. Can my guests who are holding, can they hear us on the air? They can? Okay. We have a really good show. I have several guests, one in the studio and a couple who are holding. We do have our phone lines open today because it is our absolute intent to have a conversation with you. And we gotta something gotta change. Something gotta change. So without further ado, and y'all giving me life. I just want y'all to know being on the air right now with you guys is giving me life because I know you're out there. I know you're listening. And I know some of you are going to be writing me back in. And I'm getting people on my Facebook posts giving me suggestions about who else needs to be on this show. So I'm looking forward to hearing from you guys today. And we gonna get right into it. So my guess, where my music at? Where my bed at? Hold on. There it is. Yeah. See, the music give you life. A revolution is afoot. The soldiers are on the field. Some of them right here on this show right now. As we bring this on in and get this thing ramped up, because we got stuff we got to get done, I'm going to introduce them one by one. Y'all ready, y'all? Y'all supposed to say yeah. I can't hear you. I can't hear her mic. Let's see. That's Green. I can't hear her mic. You ready? Ready?
I'm ready.
She ready.
I'm ready.
In the studio with me live, coming direct from her mouth to your ears.
That's right.
It is Dr. Donvonte Moore, darling.
Yes, that's right. Dr. Donvonte Moore is in the building,
yes,
darling.
Yes,
so happy to be here with my good girlfriend. What you say, your good
my
Judy?
Good Judy.
My peeps, my A1 since day one. My down like 4 flats on the Cadillac.
That's right. Yeah. Now coming in next, y'all know how we do it. Oh, this music is what's up.
Yeah, it is.
It's what's up.
Yeah.
I gotta bring up my good girlfriend, my other good Judy, my close business partner, my mentor, and just like all around good person. Dr. Regina Littles, are you in the house? She's supposed to be saying yeah. Let's see. Oh my goodness. Girl, all right, I'm gonna have to come back to her. I'm gonna have to come back to her. But moving right along, I still got 2 more guests to bring on this show today. Y'all ready for this?
I'm ready.
All right. We got author and current police officer somewhere up north. He get to tell y'all if he wants to who he worked for, because we don't need no problems, understand? He's a complicated man, but don't nobody understand him but his woman. We gonna bring on my good friend, Mr. Jonathan Mans. Jonathan Mans, are you there?
Yeah, we got a commercial.
Oh, wow.
It is a commercial. Say you here and keep moving. Greet the guests and say hello, and let's keep it moving. I have another guest to introduce, sir. No? He ain't gonna say nothing? All right, fine. Well, my other
No, that was a commercial plan.
No, it ain't. That's my bed. I'm playing shaft for you, man. What you talking about?
You bad.
You bad. I'm playing shaft for you. You supposed to introduce yourself at this point. He think I playing over a commercial like I ain't been doing this. Like I just started doing radio. We all shaking our head at you, Jonathan. Anyway.
Anyway.
Okay. The woman of the hour. My another new friend, but somebody who I expect to have a really, really strong relationship. And I'm gonna tell y'all something, y'all. She got something for y'all today. I needed this lightness. I needed a little bit of levity because this has been a really heavy week and we got some heavy stuff to talk about. But this woman that I'm about to introduce to y'all now, she is gonna help us get through this, y'all. She gonna help us. She gonna help us, community. And her name is Isis Wisdom. Isis, are you there?
Yes, I am, darling. How are you?
I'm so happy to hear you. I'm glad you on this line with us today. And I do believe I heard my good Judy. Dr. Littles, was that you I heard on the line?
Oh, yeah. You know I'm here.
Okay, all right then. So the whole crew is assembled. The soldiers is on the field. So we about to get into this. We gonna get into this. Now, when I spoke to my guests, when I was thinking about who to bring on, I chose these people specifically because I know them all personally, and we have had many conversations about a lot of the things that that have been happening. We've had these conversations. And I know these people. I trust these people. They are very smart. They're solution oriented, and they have overcome some stuff themselves. Each of them, each person has had things that they needed to overcome. And I believe that if we have more people who are sensitive to the needs and the some of the challenges that exist in the community, coming together, collaborating, and coming up with solutions together, I think that we can actually put something together. And I don't count it robbery, and I don't think it's too big for my britches to want to be a part of the solution to this problem. So we're going to jump right into this, right? So as you all know, last week our country experienced bring the music down just a little bit for me. Our country experienced some really horrific, I mean, I just don't know what other descriptor to use for it. Some really horrific things that took place. No less than 7 people that made it to the news media. Excuse me, it was 9, a total of 9, because there was also that dude that flipped out at the courthouse, but y'all don't see him plastered all over the place. But no less than 9 people lost their lives last week to gun violence, and it was all around or having to do with or somehow connected to law enforcement. That's a lot. That's pretty big. The 2 that kind of kicked it off were almost like public executions because the actual murders were captured on video and circulated. I'm not sure. One of y'all can hear somebody talking in the background, but so the deaths were actually circulated on social media, and it did something. Those 2 things really started it. Because it was like there was no defense. You hear all of the different defenses. You hear people saying, well, he must have been doing something. For the police wouldn't just come up and shoot somebody like that. But we saw that happen in 2 different instances last week. And then someone who's not even around anymore to defend, or not defend, but certainly give account for his own actions, took it upon himself to execute 5 police officers in the Dallas Police Department. And that was something. That was something, and it was further compounded from my perspective when, instead of making it their business to bring this person to justice through the due process system that is accorded and afforded to every American citizen, this guy was just summarily executed in the street. So he can't even give his side. He can't even say, well, this is why I did it. So now we're speculating and, postulating and all this other stuff. So that's the big frame. That's what, we don't want to spend a whole lot of time on that. Like I said, today's show was a show about solutions. I invited Jonathan because he's out there in this every day. This is a black man policing in, I'm assuming, black communities, right, Jonathan?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And white communities too.
Black and white.
We got
place called Pigtown here in Baltimore. I know somebody familiar with that.
I'm not. And it's called Pigtown? Why is it called that? Wow.
It's where our less affluent, fair-skinned citizens live in Baltimore City.
Less affluent.
Pigtown.
Okay. Okay. Wow. I don't even know what to say to that. Okay.
It's on the other side of the railroad tracks.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's in South Baltimore, and I see one of your guests is from Baltimore, so they're probably familiar with it.
Okay. All right. Well, Jonathan, I'm interested to hear your take on the air about all of what went down last week, really quickly.
Well, basically, I've always believed that there are a segment of the population, both in and out of law enforcement, who have just been seething mad ever since President Barack Obama was elected.
Oh.
And especially when it comes to law enforcement, these people know ultimately their ultimate authority is a black man named Barack Obama. Mm-hmm. And if you are inherently have some issues with other races, I believe that began to fumigate itself, inside a lot of these people. And so basically, what you have are some people taking it upon themselves to kind of show that authority that, hey, we're going to go out here and do what we want, and there really isn't much that the president can do about it. Mm-hmm. And, a lot, even within our own community, I just saw something on Facebook, I believe yesterday, it might have been today, where Ice Cube allegedly called upon President Obama to stop police from killing black men. And a lot of black people have felt that way, but what they fail to realize is that each police's jurisdiction is given by the state.
Right.
And they have this thing called a state's rights. So what a police department policy is in the state of New York is going to be quite different in the state of Louisiana.
Right.
Where a lot of people talked about in the Eric Garner killing that the chokehold was illegal. Well, yes, it is illegal for the New York Police Department because that's a policy that they came up with. Mm-hmm. But that's not to say that in Little Rock, Arkansas, police are barred from using the chokehold. It's just not true. Mm-hmm. So there's very little that somebody at the federal level can do to quote-unquote police local jurisdictions unless, it has something to do with accepting federal dollars. That's pretty much right. The extent of their power. They can withhold federal dollars, but they cannot mandate policies for those individual policy departments.
Right. We start getting into states' rights then. And I'm going to tell you, I really am not necessarily mad at states' rights. People seem to not understand what our Constitution was all about, what the Constitution even says, for that matter. Federal, and I actually was surprised to learn this. I was working temporarily in a city government one time for a small city here in Georgia, and I was working on a project. It was for human resources, and I recall for the first time hearing that states' rights always trump federal rights when it comes to when it comes to policy, things of administration and policy, like human resources, that states get to govern themselves. And when she said that to me, it clicked. It made sense. I was like, oh, that's right. I forgot about that. It seems like since the federal government is the big governing body, that they would have the final say on things. However, that's not really the case. And that's why we see such disparate treatment of different topics all across the nation. And I can't say that I'm really that mad at that. That actually might be a layer of protection. This might be a good place to invite Isis into the conversation. Isis, you there?
Yes, I am.
Yeah. Do you have any feedback or thoughts about what we're sharing, this part of the conversation that we're sharing here?
Yes, I do. Actually, what you guys are currently witnessing right now is a federalization of all local police, which should not be happening. And it's up to states to fight against the government in terms of any type of tyrannical moves that are being made. Right now, you're seeing tyrannical moves. I don't know if you've seen big article that came out a couple of days ago where the Pentagon gave authorization to the United Nations to police all United States citizens.
Yes,
You guys need to take a look at that, and now you're starting to see the beginnings of what we call martial law. Now, we've been in a martial law actually for quite some time, but in terms of them fully implementing it onto the citizens in the manner that they have, this is what you're currently seeing going into effect right now. It has a lot to do with the debt crisis that we're currently under right now, because most people do not know what me and you know, Mary, and that is that there isn't any money in this country.
Right.
And that basically they've been stealing from the people this entire time.
Right.
So in order to grab a hold of a country that's already fully funded by guns, you got to figure you got 400 million people in America, and a good percentage of those individuals are carrying guns. So the only way that you can fight against that is you got to start putting out this whole propaganda about gun control. This whole propaganda, about the feds wanting to take your guns, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Now they're implementing martial law, et cetera, et cetera. So let me just break something down for you guys so you're clear about the laws. Because this is the one thing that we do not study is this thing called law that governs over citizens. Let's talk about what a citizen is. A citizen is an employee of the United States corporation.
Okay.
That is what a United States citizen is. You have citizen, and then you have national. You have no nationality if you're classified as a citizen. A citizen only has privileges. A citizen does not have rights. It is very important that the people, whether you're black or white, understand this. Now, if you are classified as black, which under the legal definition means to be dead, you fall under the 14th Amendment, which means you don't have the right to assemble. You don't have the right to carry any arms to defend yourself. You don't have any right to have any type of economic say-so about anything because you are not human. And that is what these people are currently exercising on people of color within this country because people of color do not realize there's no such thing as black Americans. It doesn't exist.
Wow.
You are actually indigenous aboriginals. Wow. You are not black American. They're operating under color of law. And any police officer that's educated about this will tell you that's what they're operating under. They're operating under what you call color of law.
Wow.
Not operating the right way in terms of the rights. Okay? Citizens technically do not have rights. You must be a national. In your case, if you have color, you need to change your status to aboriginal indigenous, a.k.a. Moor.
Wow. Okay.
Okay? You were never taught this in the public school system. You were never taught this in elementary school. You were never taught this in college because everything is public. You learn this stuff in private schools. Those little Ivy League schools that the little kids go to where their parents are super wealthy, you learn it in those type of schools what I'm talking about.
Wow. That's a lot. That's pretty big.
Yeah.
That's a lot to swallow right there.
You have to understand that if you are wanting to change something, it first starts with the mentality of yourself. Our people have to take personal responsibility and accountability for their lives because ignorance of the law is no excuse.
Right.
And they take their behinds into a courthouse, into a library, downtown, anywhere, and you need to start studying law, especially as it pertains to you.
Right. Okay. So the first solution is to start studying law. Take responsibility for yourself and begin to study the laws. Regina, are you still with us? I know you got to run. I know you got some prior commitments.
I'm here. I'm just so glad that I've been teaching and preaching this for years now. You know, you got to know who you are, and you got to get your status changed. Status in America means and says a lot. And the problem is, people don't know their status, and they they think being a citizen and a ward of the state is a good thing, and I say this all the time. As a ward of the state, hey, it's like they're your parents. Wow. We have to take that control back, and we have to govern ourselves. We're so far behind, and I've been saying this forever. Even economically.
Yes.
If you I'll tell you why it's so important. It's very important because, we work all of our lives. We slave and we work. We work. Black people work. We built this country.
Yeah.
So it's so important the fact that, we know that if we pay off a house, and let's just say we worked and we paid off a house, we have money in the bank and all of this stuff. Who gets that money? Who governs that money when we die? Guess who's going to step in line to take over your inheritance?
Wow, that's right. If
you're thinking you're going to leave this money for your children, but guess what? Your children's got to fight the state and probate for your money.
Wow. Yeah, I have. Wow, I've actually seen that happen. I'm telling you, you hear me. So normally I have a whole lot to say, but today I feel like I'm in learn mode. I have people on the line. Like I said, I assembled this panel because these people are people who I know, who I trust, who are extremely intelligent, who are versed in this, who know what our rights actually are and how we can get to them. Jonathan, let me bring you back into this discussion because we want to move quickly. I mean, an hour is never enough time. We already almost halfway through this show. Needless to say, we ain't taking no breaks today. Just letting you know. Just saying. And Greg is like, I don't care. So, Jonathan, let me bring you back in here. So, the things that you're hearing, what do you have a reaction to that? Oh, excuse me, Dr. Don is the person who hasn't said anything yet except hello, darling. Dr. Don, let me bring you into this conversation. Sorry about that.
Oh, no problem. You know that you got to say the best for last now.
Okay.
So first of all, I want to say that everybody has some very powerful points that really ring true because I'm an educator as well. And I educate away from standard knowledge, what you learn in public school, like what Isis was talking about. And it's challenging because people don't want to hear it.
Right.
They hold very fast to what they already think they know. And so one of the solutions that I think also needs to happen in addition to educating black people, and I'm all for educating black people, but there comes a point where the other side of that coin needs to be addressed as well. And that's the conditioning and programming of police officers.
Yes.
I believe that many police officers have been programmed, even if they didn't go into their job believing that black people tend to be more prone to criminal behavior. If they didn't go into their job thinking that way, I think that they are programmed to think that way. If they don't think that way, they're definitely hyper vigilant. Everything scares them. Everybody's out to get them. And you know, I hear police officers talk about how dangerous their jobs are. So they're in a constant state of high alert
and fear.
So the moment, you know, you see a 12-year-old playing with a toy gun, shoot them, you know. I feel like there needs to be a reprogramming because we can be educated on all of those things and we can have a good understanding of who we are. But when you're in the field, when you out, you know, living your life and doing normal things that normal people do, not breaking any laws, such as playing with a toy gun in a park, and someone comes up and shoots you, you really don't have time to explain who you are. The other person needs to know as well who you are, and that they just don't need to be so trigger happy and so fearful of every little thing that they see. I think a part of it is just hyper vigilant.
May I interject?
Sure, I guess you can, since you already did.
Jonathan,
thank you, Jonathan.
Why you acting like you don't know you talking on the phone with black women? What's wrong with
really,
you?
Because
Come on in.
I don't believe I interjected on you, but go right ahead. It must be important.
Well, what I wanted to say on that is every day black police officers are given calls like the call that came off of Alton Sterling. Suspicious male on the corner, possibly with a handgun. Every day, black police officers pull over cars in traffic stops. And you rarely hear about us killing anybody. So it's not necessarily a police issue. These people had these feelings or whatever you want to call it, hatred, whatever it is in them, that was in them before they joined the police department. So it's not necessarily a police training issue, because I pulled over, I can say comfortably, over 1,000 cars in my career, easily. And I've never killed anybody. I've gotten that call almost every day that I'm at work for suspicious person somewhere doing something, possibly armed with a handgun or a knife. And I've been able to go up to the situation, assess it, ascertain what I'm dealing with, and take the appropriate action. And every other black police officer that I know, and a lot of white ones, for that matter, have been able to do the same thing. So it's not inherently something that's done in the training. It's something that's, inherent in certain people.
Well, and as a quote unquote citizen, I have dealt with police officers who really just don't know how to act. And I get it. You see things the way you see it from your from your perspective. But as someone who has been doing something as simple as sitting in my car, something as simple as walking down the street. I've had brothers of mine who have been arrested for carrying a concealed weapon, and he had a metal fingernail file in his pocket. So again, I think there does need to be some training. I think everybody needs to take responsibility. And the moment someone says, "Oh, no, it's not me," it raises an eyebrow, because if you're not willing to take responsibility, and I'm not talking about blame. I'm not saying that, it's police officers and it's policing, but there also needs to be some training and some reprogramming as far as police officers are concerned. Or you need to evaluate them and not allow people who have those feelings and thought processes in your situation, in your department. So I appreciate when people are willing to take some type of responsibility, but it does raise an eyebrow when someone says, no, it's not us, it's not training, we don't need to change anything, yet people are being killed. 12-year-olds are being killed for playing with a toy gun. And a grown woman like me can be doing something as simple as sitting in her car and have a police officer pull a gun on her. So I beg to differ.
So let me say this while everybody running, going to their corners for a second and taking sips of water so we can cool it down. This first two things, these conversations got to be had, and they are going to become much more difficult before they get better. They just are. This is where we are in our country, but it has to happen. It's kind of like having to, if you have a boil, you got to get all the nasty stuff out first. And once you get all the nasty stuff out, even after you see the blood, once you clean it up and wipe it away, there could be an open wound there. And so it's going to take time to heal, is my point. And I know that's a kind of, colorful picture that I just painted, but I think everybody has had at least one boil. If you ever broke a pimple in your face, you've had one. But the other thing that I want to point out is I read a piece in the HuffPost today about one of the officers who was murdered last week in Dallas, who is believed to be, based on the preponderance of the evidence presented, and the preponderance of the evidence presented was presented by, those online sleuths who always are able to find, the oldest criminal records of the blackest victim that you can find. They found some stuff on this guy, and it turns out that it's very likely that he was a white supremacist, one of the 5 who was murdered. Now, I don't think he should have been murdered because he was a white supremacist, but what if the person who had an ought against him and who ultimately shot and killed him did so because he knew, had suspicions of, thought about this man being a white supremacist? This guy, and what the evidence was, is that he's got that Iron Cross tattooed on his finger, the one that's typically associated with neo-Nazism. He's got the big shield of Thor, or whatever that big giant Christian, no, not of Thor, the Christian shield on his arm. Okay, what is all that? Y'all on the radio, stop acting up. But he had that big shield tattooed on his arm. He had a lot of what would be, if he was in prison, he would have been wearing and sporting the kinds of ink that you see those people who are a part of the Aryan Nation wearing. He was also formerly an employee of the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department, which was discovered during the time when it was discovered to have had gangs inside, white supremacist gangs inside of the department. He was alleged to have been one of the Viking lords or whatever their gang name was as in the sheriff's department. He was not a police officer at that time. He was an analyst. So I'm saying that to agree with you, Jonathan, that he whatever prejudices, if he ever had any prejudices, we don't know because I haven't seen his record, but any prejudices that he had, he would have brought those with him when he came to policing. But to Dr. Don's point, I do agree that there is quite a bit of training. Police officers spend an inordinately and disproportionate amount of time learning how to fire their weapons than they do on community policing. Is that your experience? Because that's what's being reported, and that's what I've been told by other police officers that I know in different departments. And I know that it's regional and it's by districts, but is that a fair statement to make?
No, because police officers, we actually go to the range twice a year, and each time we're there about 2 hours. That's it, about 4 hours a year. That's the mandatory training.
What about academy training?
Huh?
What about academy training?
Academy training is 1 week. One week at the range, and that's basically getting familiar with the weapon, how to take it apart, how to put it back together, how to clean it. Right. But the actual shooting time is actually about 2 hours, and if we can get it done quicker than that, we're trying to get out of there.
And what about? I'm sorry. What about in academy training? What about community policing? How much time is spent on that?
Community police, probably maybe, I'd say about 80 hours, probably 2 weeks.
So 2 weeks on community policing and 1 week on shooting? Somebody need to be talking
the
to
whole week
people.
is not even on shooting. It's about weapon safety, about, hey, you sit this gun down, the child gets a hold of it, you go into prison. It's more than just shooting. Okay. It's about weapon safety. You can't go out and get drunk while you're carrying a weapon. It's all those things that encompass carrying a weapon.
All right.
Could I interject on something on this?
Yes.
Real quick.
Come on in.
I think it's important that we understand that it's getting to the point now. Do you believe your lying eyes?
Right. Yeah.
Okay. What I'm saying to you is that a lot of the stuff that you guys see going on has been going on since the beginning of time in this country. The only difference is that there's a camera on everything that's going on right now. Now we're living in a situation where you got the military running false flag drills. I come from a military background. My whole family was in the military, so I know a false flag drill when I see one. And so you have that going on where you have false flags. See, back in the day when they used to run false flag drills inside the communities will always be notified ahead of time. Now they don't even do that anymore. They just run a false flag. You don't know if it's really happening or if this is actually really, if this is actually some type of drill that they're running. An example would have been Texas.
What do you
Texas was a false flag drill off the rip, point blank.
What do you mean? The 5 police officers from last week?
The so-called 5 police officers that got murdered in that situation. If you guys go back and you take a look at that video where you hear all the shots popping off, you're gonna clearly notice that those shots were coming from several different angles. There's no way in the world that one person would have been able to shoot that many people. The first reports that came out originally were that there was about 4 shooters.
Yep.
They said the one had committed suicide, and the other ones they already had apprehended. And then they turned around and they flipped the story up and said, okay, well, now it's all just this one guy right here that did it, and he just happens to look like the poster child of the Black Power movement, which we all know that's a game. You guys got to see the propaganda for what it is. All you're seeing through the media is nothing more than propaganda. Right. And it's very important that we keep our heads very, very sound. And it's just as twice as important that we are critical thinkers. And I'm gonna read a law to you guys that you guys may or may not be aware of as to the reason why people can get arrested on sight if you are a citizen, why you are allowed to get arrested and get locked up in jail if you are a citizen. Okay. According to Code 18 U.S.C. 911, it says, whoever falsely and willfully represents himself to be a citizen of the United States shall be fined under this title or in prison not more than 3 years or both.
Now
That's in
explain
the
that.
laws.
Explain that, because we all think we citizens for real.
And you can send it to it.
Okay, so explain.
No one
explain
forced
that.
you. Listen, when you were a child, the mother was the one who actually was the agent who turned on her child and sold her child to the state. That's what it means when you get a birth certificate and a Social Security card.
Okay.
Let me break it down even further for you, because now what you're dealing with is called commercial law and contract law. The United States, everything about the United States operates under maritime law, okay, which is the law of the sea. By these courts that you see that are operating under maritime law, they're operating under banking law. So everything you do with the court, no matter if a cop gives you a ticket, whatever, you're dealing with banking.
Right.
That's it, banking. Now, you want to be a court case real quick? I'm going to go ahead and put it all the way out there. Make sure you guys take the time out and read a Form 56 through the IRS.
What is it?
It's
What
the
form
easiest
is it?
way to have a ticket rescinded back when a police officer gives you a ticket. And it's also the easiest way to hold a judge accountable if he decides that you're supposed to pay a fine. Fill out a Form 56 and turn it into the judge and see how fast he dismisses that case.
Okay. All right.
Because what you can do is you can turn it into a tax issue. You can make the police officer and the judge accountable for filing a commercial claim against your trust, because your all-cap name is a trust. That's what they're not telling you. When you look at your birth certificate, your Social Security card, your driver's license, all that stuff that you look at, if they taught you in elementary school to spell your name in upper and lower case, then why in the world every single bill that you get and everything that your name is all in all caps? Because there's a trust in your name, and it was created from the day you were born. Your mother was the one who consented to it whenever she got a birth certificate and a Social Security card, which is nothing more than a bill of lading. You're talking about shipping. You're talking about maritime law.
Vessels and commerce. Okay, ISIS, you gonna kill my peoples. Their heads are gonna explode. Most folk don't understand that there are two systems operating concurrently. Most people don't get that. So I'm gonna have to bring us back a little bit. Bring us back. Let's
all right, well, let me just say this one thing.
All right.
You have two sets of laws that we're operating here in this country, for those who do not know. You have the private, and then you have the public. Now, I'll take it a step further. When you look at the back of the dollar bill and you see that pyramid there, the uncompleted pyramid with the all-seeing eye, little do you know that pyramid represents the republic, a.k.a. the Moors.
Oh, wow.
It was the Moors who actually created that to begin with. It was the Moors who actually who created who created the Treasury. We're the ones who did all that. You got to remember, constitutional law does not apply to anybody of color. You operate under the Bill of Rights, Articles of Confederation. Constitution is corporation. It does not apply to you.
Wow.
So as a black person, when you start coming out talking about Constitution this and Constitution that, well, the only thing that they have you listed under Constitution is the 14th Amendment. And if you've read the 14th Amendment, it clearly tells you what you are if you're classifying yourself as black.
Yeah,
so it doesn't apply to you.
Again. I'm gonna need to read that again, because I can't tell you.
And the 14th Amendment never did away with slavery.
No, they did not. They never did away with slavery. So what happened was all the government did was come in, pay out the slave masters, and took on the responsibility of those so-called blacks, called them United States citizens, and gave them different names such as Negro, colored, any other name that said you would be displaced, and you wouldn't realize that you never came from Africa off a ship, that you were actually the free Indians that these people came to colonize from the very beginning. So when you celebrate Thanksgiving, you're celebrating the slaughter of your own ancestors and don't even know it.
Wow.
That's why I don't celebrate none of those European holidays.
You have to know who you are. You didn't come in off no ship. You've been here.
Wow.
So you are called what we call indigenous aboriginal. Barack Obama put something in place to protect those who are indigenous aboriginals. He's doing some things to try to protect us, but we're behind the eight ball because we're so busy out here being distracted with love and hip hop and all this other stuff that don't mean anything.
Don't even get me started. Don't get me started. Who did we lose? Who did we lose? We lost one of our callers. Isis, you there?
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Who's here?
I'm still here.
That's Jonathan. Isis, you with us?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, we lost Gina. All right, she's going to call back. Gina was actually just about it. We were just texting. Y'all know we so hood. We on the air texting each other. But because we gotta help. So I wanted, like I said, I wanted to let everybody know that I'm getting text that the line is busy. We have Gina back on the line?
I am back. I don't know
Okay.
what happened, but I don't know if we all
It's
got
cool.
dropped.
Do we have
but-
one more? We have one more line. How many lines we got? 3 or 4? We only got 3. Oh, okay. I got somebody trying to call in. Oh, I wonder if we could do blab. It's too late for that. Gosh, we need more than an hour. My caller.
I want to feedback about what Isis. I believe it was Isis that was talking. She's absolutely correct. You know, one of the things that we have to really realize is that our courts, and that's why justice is never going to be justice. You know,
here,
because it's all about money. It's all about contract law. You know, we're contracting when we go in court, and that's one of the reasons why we see majority of our men in prison. We have to understand the reason why that is, because they don't even know that they're under the 14th Amendment. You know, she was talking about Constitution. That's why the Constitution, we're so quick to raise a Constitution, but it's not applying to us because we haven't changed our status.
Right.
So, you know, we have to understand who we are and what these quotas that, you know, I don't know if y'all saw I don't think it was maybe 10 or 15 police officers out of New York. They went on the news and they were saying that they
Oh yeah, I do remember that. And they
that have to be met.
Yeah.
And they target these quotas in
when they were talking about stop and frisk. Mm-hmm.
Right. They target these areas in areas where black people are, people who have no education, who don't even have a clue as to even the reason why they're being ticketed.
Right. In the first place. Mm-hmm.
In the first place. And it's because they know that these people don't have lawyers. They're not going to get lawyers to be able to represent themselves.
Right. They don't know how to play the game. Yep.
They don't. It is, you know, they're accessing their trust, and that's where, you know, it's a business.
Mm-hmm.
It's a business, and the only people that have been played for all this time is black people. You don't see Chinese people getting arrested.
Like
you don't see Muslim people. Why? Because of their status.
Right. Wow, that is a lot. That's a lot.
Make money. The only people that can make money on this is black people. And we're going to continue to see this. This is not going to change until we get ourselves educated, change our status, and learn how to see this world, United States, which is a corporation, which is a business, for what it really is.
Okay. Wow.
It's important.
And let me tell you, this is gonna hurt a lot. Right? What I'm going to say. You know what?
What?
You can't vote if you're not a citizen. So what you know? So what's going to happen is, you know, there's all these things that are going to happen because you have to be a citizen to vote. See, this is why I had a problem with the whole voters' rights movement, because if it pushes people to say they're citizens, even, you know, when you're really not supposed to be citizens.
Wow.
Well, you're not supposed to be participating in a system that doesn't belong to you. Listen, guys, if you was under a tribal government or a tribal nation, why would you care about what's going on with the corporation of the United States? What we call the United States. It doesn't apply to you.
Correct. It's just like being on a job. You know, if you're not working for the police department of Verizon, why would you care what they doing? You're not.
That's the whole point, and I'm trying to get. That's a whole message I'm trying to get out to my people. Here's the deal. I'm gonna say this really fast, and I hope and pray that you guys and everybody else that's listening on this call are really understanding what's coming down the pipeline for people of color in this country.
It's recorded for posterity, so put it on out there.
So 2014 to change your status over. Make sure you're clear about this. The deadline was 2014 to change your status over to indigenous and also for you to claim your land. If you didn't do it by 2014, your only other option would be to join a tribal nation or a tribal government that is protected on a federal level, where you won't have to deal with all this stuff in terms of the citizenship. Those who have not changed their status, this is what those FEMA camps are for. Also, I got reports 2 days ago that the United States is now removing so-called African Americans outside of the country. They're exiling them out of the country because you were never African American to begin with. That was something that was put in place by Jesse Jackson, which actually destroyed us. You were never African American to begin with. We were all the true rightful heirs to the land. So when we took on the status of black, colored, African American, every other title other than what we were, they're saying African American doesn't even exist. We don't even recognize it in our laws.
Wow.
So if this is what you're calling yourself, well then we don't want to deal with you. This is where Trump comes into play when he's talking about the immigration thing. They're putting the messages out there on Front Street. They're telling you if you are considered what we call a foreigner, you will not come into this country. So if you're calling yourself an African American, there's no such thing that even exists, that doesn't exist.
Wow.
So guess what? They have the power to do these different things. So that's why I'm saying to my people, it's important that you either become a part of a tribal government or a tribal nation. I'm going to say this again. A tribal government or a tribal nation. You have Washita Nation, you have Yamasee, you have Old Cherokee. There's so many different nations and tribal governments within the country that you can actually become a part of, that you can be protected and you'll have actual rights. And then at that point, you're operating under canon law and you're operating under treaty law, which is the highest law of the land. And that's what's going to protect us from all the craziness that's going on out here. The corporation, the voting, and all that stuff does not, I'm going to say it again, it does not apply to anybody of color in this country because you are the rightful heirs to the land. It doesn't matter what they're talking about. It doesn't matter.
All right,
Yep.
so Gina is tickled because she is just tickled because we've been talking about this for years, and I have just not had enough information. God, I'm so glad that I met you, Isis. My God, I feel like you're an answer to prayer. Jonathan, I don't even know what to ask you right now. I'm just like, I'm so serious. I don't even know what to ask you right now. What you got to say?
Well, the thing is, I mean, she's absolutely right. You know, the one thing about America is words matter, and the whole name African American is an oxymoron.
Right.
You know, it's like a microwaveable ice cube. America's always tried to destroy the African, so how can you ever be an African American?
Okay.
That just literally makes no sense. And she talked about, you know, we got to stop trying to be a part of things that were never meant for us. Well, Christianity was never meant for us.
Ooh,
Christianity
is you finna start messing with people's Jesus?
Slavery.
Are you messing with people's Jesus right now?
The reality is, we never heard of Jesus before the slave ship Jesus pulled up in Africa.
Lord.
There you go.
We never heard of Jesus.
Here we go.
You know, and the insanity of, you know, us trying to believe in something and cling to something that makes absolutely no sense. If you believe that God is all-powerful, almighty, he can do anything, then why would God need somebody to die to forgive me for my sins? He could just forgive me. He's God. Bam.
Wow.
He doesn't need any special circumstances to occur for him to do what he can already do.
Wow.
But, you know, for us chasing a ghost spell, you know, we call it the gospel, but it's a ghost spell. They put us under this ghost spell of us chasing some beliefs and trying to make sense out of some stuff that just absolutely makes no sense. And this is why we spend our whole life going in circles trying to figure out how life works because we're chasing these ghost spells.
Wow. Let me tell you something. I don't even know what to do with this show today. I don't even know what to do.
Because you ain't got enough time. You need to do another one.
It ain't finna stop. Did y'all think this was going to be the only show? Did everybody think this is going to be the only time coming on this air talking about this stuff?
Listen. And we're reading a Bible written by white people.
Now, Regina woke up this morning.
We've always heard that black people have suffered in this country for 400 years. Well, guess what? The King James Bible was written in 1611. In 2011, it became 400 years old. That's not a coincidence.
I agree.
The Bible is 400 years old. We've suffered in this country for 400 years. It's not a coincidence.
Wow.
One more thing. There's a couple of laws for those that are current citizens right now that have not changed their status that I would like to read real fast so they can take the time out to go research this information on their own. Okay? A police officer swears by oath to uphold the United States Constitution as an officer of the law. Supreme Court decisions are considered the law of the land in regards to constitutionality, protected rights, and they cannot be interpreted or reinterpreted as they are stare decisis already reviewed and clearly described as law. Now let's talk about the Supreme Court case. Colander versus Lawson, 461 U.S. 352, 1983, in which the United States Supreme Court ruled that a police officer could not arrest a citizen merely by refusing to present his identification. There is no such thing as failure to identify people.
Please,
it doesn't
what's that
exist.
statute again? What's that statute again?
It is called, it's 461 U.S. 352, 1983, Colander versus Lawson. This is a Supreme
It's a
Court
court
case.
law. Okay.
All right. Now, the next thing is you can sue the police for an illegal arrest and resist arrest with impunity. Now, let me read this to you. An illegal arrest is an assault and battery. The person so attempted to be restrained of his liberty has the same right to use force and defending himself as he would in repelling any other assault and battery. State versus Robinson, 145 ME 77 72 ATL .260. That's one of them.
Oh my God, I'm holding my breath.
And we are trained.
Hold on.
We are trained to that a citizen can resist an illegal arrest, even up to including the officer's death. We are trained. We are given that training in the academy.
So then,
that is absolutely true.
So hold on. If that's the case, then why black men dying in the street? What the heck?
Because let me finish.
You're right.
Yep.
Wow. Oh my God. Y'all keep going. Don't listen to me. Keep going.
All right. Each person has the right to resist an unlawful arrest. In such a case, the person attempting the arrest stands in the position of a wrongdoer and may be resisted by the use of force, as in self-defense. State versus Mobley, 240 N.C. 476 83 S.E. 2D 100. This is all Supreme Court case law, y'all. All Supreme Court. And I took the time out to research this for y'all so I can go ahead and break this down so that way you understand that you must know the law.
All right. So, look, we're down to the last. Okay, what? Say it, Jonathan. Say it.
But let me just say, the law is also very crafty in the way that it is written.
Yes.
I'll just use motor vehicle law, for example.
Okay.
Most people don't know that book is very thick. It's over 1,000 pages. So it's literally impossible that you could drive down the Cobb Parkway without violating some traffic law. It's almost impossible. So, yes, you can resist an illegal arrest, but if an officer is crafty enough and spends their spare time just reading through the book, then they can find a law.
Well,
they can find something.
The officer don't have to do that. That's what his unions and fraternal order brothers, all them people, that's what they for. That's what they for, the police advocate people. That's what they're for. We got less than 4 minutes. So this is what we got to do. I swear, I thought we was going to be talking about credit. I was going to be talking about how, one of the solutions is we got to help people, get their names good so that they can, have some ownership and be vested in y'all just done killed all that.
But we don't need credit. We don't need credit in order to build businesses.
Clearly.
We just have to practice the principles of Kwanzaa.
Huh?
You just have to find people within your circle that you can practice the principles of Kwanzaa, which always amazes me how black people, we're so quick to embrace European holidays, European culture. We'll walk around with a damn T-shirt talking about "Kiss Me, I'm Irish" and all this other dumb
kind of
stuff.
Foolishness.
And then you mention to people, Juneteenth Day. We won't barbecue and shoot fireworks for that, which we should, which I do.
Hey,
but we'll go out there and declare Independence Day.
I just told you I got to get off the phone. I'm going to hang up on you, Jonathan. That's what's going to happen. Listen, we got less than a minute.
His number, man. Make sure I get your number, Jonathan. I need to holler at you about some other stuff, brother.
Yes, everybody connected. We all connected. We is family. I got 2 minutes. This is what we finna do.
Yeah, Mary got every piece of way to contact me in the world.
That's right. So we got 2 minutes. So this is what we finna do. We are going to get the people on the line to commit to coming back to this show next Thursday. Can I get a commitment?
Yes, I'm there.
I'm there.
Gina?
Yeah, I'm here.
Dr. Don?
I'm there.
All right, and I'm going to have to bring Judge Knights in. Because he was texting me talking about he couldn't get in on the line because y'all got all the lines going. We got us a judge up in here.
Yeah.
So we're going to do this. Between us, we going to take over the world, Pinky. That's what's going to happen. We going to fix this thing. So before we leave, I so appreciate you guys coming on. Isis, please tell people how because you actually offer services in this area. You don't just do this for free. This is one of your livelihoods. So please tell everybody how they can reach you.
Just send me an email to organiclawfirm@gmail.com.
Organic Law Firm,
at
FIRM.
gmail.com.
Okay.
For those who have questions, I deal with travel. I deal with travel issues as well as private issues dealing on the other side. So I deal with both sides.
Okay.
So you can reach out to me. I'm what you call a counselor of law on the private side, which is basically a non-bar attorney. I can still do the same things a regular attorney does. I just won't pledge myself to the bar, to the queen.
Got it. Ooh, honey, girl, we going deep. Jonathan.
You gotta do. You can't play it because, even lawyers don't even know what kind of situation they're in. Registered.
Right.
So, Gina, since you talking, tell everybody how to reach you and what me and you got going on.
Well, I have the Make Up Your Mind tour is August the 13th in Orlando, Florida. Mm-hmm. And then, again, we're going to do October 1st. But you can reach me by, I'm on Facebook, Regina P. Littles. My phone number is 321-287-0986. Hey, I'm on the net. I'm on social media.
Oh, yeah, we everywhere. All right, Jonathan, tell everybody how they can reach you.
Well, you can reach me as Jonathan Nance on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. You can also reach me on my Facebook page, the Black House Publishing Incorporated, which is my publishing company, and I'm currently promoting my current book, Love Makes Things Happen, which is available on Amazon.com and soon to be available in brick-and-mortar stores around the world.
That's right. We going to get it popping. Dr. Don, tell everybody how to get you.
richblackgirl.com everywhere. richblackgirl.com on Facebook, richblackgirl.com on the web, richblackgirl on IG, richblackgirl.
Just Rich Black Girl. Just Rich Black Girl. I love it. And I am your host, Mrs. Mary Ellis, and we're going to be right back here with these same guests plus some more next Thursday, 6 o'clock. Do not be playing around. Tell your friends. Tell everybody you know. And we're going to do our best to have more phone lines available because we're going to be in the studio and leave lines open for y'all, all right? Well, I want y'all to keep working your rhythms, vibrate higher, and we are Black History, baby. Peace. This has been the Bag Lady Radio Show with the hardest working woman in credit, Dr. Regina Littles, and I am God's gift to broadcast, Mrs. Mary Ellis. Be sure to join us next Thursday and we'll do it all over again. If you would like more information about the guests that you just heard from, or if you have a show idea, if there's someone you want us to interview, or if you just want to reach out to the show, go ahead and send us an email to producers@goldenheartsradio.info or send us a text at 678-856-3258. Y'all know that we're social media butterflies, right? So you can chase us on Twitter or catch us on Periscope at Gift2Broadcast or One Nation for Change. That's Gift, the number 2, Broadcast, or One Nation, the number 4, Change. Post your questions, comments, or suggestions in our Facebook group. Just search for the Bag Lady Radio Show call-in group on Facebook. For advertising and sampling opportunities, call 678-856-3258 or email producers@goldenheartsradio.info. The Bag Lady Radio Show.